your players know they have everything to play for over these next few weeks. How do you keep the focus in on what they need to do? You've talked a lot about dailies and those things, but when the lights get a little bit brighter, does you find that that's tougher to manage, or are you guys pretty good with that?
We'll see. This is our first go around for us as a group in this situation, but it's one that we've tried to build from this summer up until right now to try and be prepared for it. And all you can do is stay on that and stay on the dailies and just try and maintain consistency, which the group's done a pretty good job of. I was really happy with how we rebounded last weekend. Situation going on the road again, and finding a way to get 5 points, I thought was a big step for us. And now we need to reset, which we did yesterday, and get back to work.
Coach, last weekend, a lot of guys got involved from a scoring standpoint, and it might go without saying, but especially going into this upcoming series, how much do you like that? How key is it just to have a lot of guys getting some success, getting the points, getting assists, getting goals, and things like that?
Well, I think to get some guys going offensively again that had maybe not had the success that they wanted to have on the score sheet. You look at the guys that impacted the game on Friday with Matty D. St. Val and Cruzs Lucius, David Cillier, reuniting that line and then bringing the energy that they brought to the game on Friday. Christian Fitzgerald, those are guys that we're looking for to be leaders for us offensively, defensively. They play in every situation, top six role, power play, penalty kill. And when those guys are going and then you supplement that, with Carson Bantle and some others, I thought Benny Dexheimer had an outstanding weekend offensively and defensively. And when that happens, we're a much better team when we can have depth scoring. And so to see our power play start to contribute, which I think is really important at this time of the year, because it's amazing how the opportunities on the power play seem to dwindle once you get to playoff time. So you've got to make them count. And I thought those guys, the ones that I mentioned, did a really good job at making sure that they contributed on both ends of the rink, and it was good to see us share the wealth a little bit.
When 51's going, it's noticeable, and I know he was out for the series at Michigan State earlier this season. He's out for the Minnesota series. What kind of impact did you think he had coming back after that Minnesota series and then the last few weeks of being a presence, just kind of a top line kind of guy that's going to go out there and whether it's a pass or a shot or making continuing a play in the offensive zone, how he's able to do that for you?
He's a special player offensively. And if you give him time and space, he understands what to do with it. If you get after him, he can still make a play under duress, under pressure. Still trying to get him, and he's done a much better job of this, I think, over the second half. When you start looking at his shot total, he's becoming a little bit more of a threat because he's looking to shoot the puck a bit more, which I think just allows him a little bit more ice, because if they have to defend his shot, he can find, if that shot is taken away, he can find somebody else. And, Cruzs is an elite hockey mind, I think. Once he gets in the offensive zone, I don't talk to Cruzs about what to do. I don't see it at that level. And he made some plays. And, the goal he scores, their goaltender was in a really good spot, going from dot to dot, and he found a way to get in the top third of the net. That's hard to do, especially on your forehand. And he did that. And that's just something we've become accustomed to. And it's great to have him in the lineup and being as impactful as he is.
With this being the final series of the regular season, it's also going to be recognizing your senior class. And obviously a lot of these guys are new to you. But just can you talk about what kind of stands out to you about this group and, what you kind of learned about them this year?
First of all, I'd like to give Tony and his staff credit for recruiting such unbelievable human beings. Coming in and them allowing our staff allowing the 12 new players to come in and welcoming them, not only the idea of listening and buying in, but using their experience of what it is to be a Badger and what it is to be at the University of Wisconsin, allowed us to get off to a good start. And those guys have been impactful in many different ways. Some that people on the outside don't get to see every day, but we get to experience because we're the coaches and we're around them every day. We're not in the spot that we're in without that group. Very impressed with them as people. When I've been asked multiple times on what has been the biggest piece, I'm going to say that they're right at the front of the line because of what they've done and how they've done it and how accepting they've been on maybe different roles that they might be in today that they weren't in before, and just allowing our team to grow from this summer to where we're at today. I think that group had just a tremendous impact on allowing us to get to where we're at right now.
When Simon Tassi is playing at his best, what is noticeable to you that maybe doesn't get noticed by a lot of players? Because you've seen him for now 2 years, but also have some experience of him in juniors. What are the things that you see that kind of take him to that level?
When he's skating, with and without it, he's a powerful skater. And at times, offensive guys, as they're moving around the rink, if their hands are moving, they think their feet are moving. And that's not always the case. And so it's just when he's playing with pace and he's playing north and south. When Simon starts, and you saw the first goal that we scored on the weekend, he started moving east and west. There were 4 guys that converged on him. He paid a price, and the puck was laying there for Whitelaw to give us our first shot of the game on the road, and it goes in the back of the net. He's fearless, and he's a guy that works at his craft every single day. But he's most impactful when he's moving his feet because he's such a powerful skater.
Seems like the first time you played Michigan State was ages ago. How different is your team now compared to that first series back in, I think, early November?
I remember the games very well, just because they put us on our heels. They pressured us when we had it. They pressured us when they had it. And it was one of the first teams that I thought really kind of put it to us a bit. And we learned and we grew from that. Both games were close games. I believe that that's going to be how it is at this time of the year with anybody. But I just think that they've got a lot of depth. They play with confidence. I think they're very well coached. That series was one where we grew from a negative experience of not being able to get points on the road. And so now I think we're a different team, but I think State is also. Both teams have grown because some of their drivers are young players, new players. And the longer those players can be in the spots that they play with a little bit more confidence. And I think both teams are at that spot, and you want to have this opportunity at this time of the year. And when you play a team like Michigan State, they exposed our weaknesses. And I know they're going to try and do that again, so we'll have to be on point.
At what point this season did you see this coming into a clear picture that we're going to be in the hunt for this down to the final weekend? I guess at what point did you start talking to the players about that as well as, hey, a Big Ten championship's an attainable goal and something that we're going for right now?
Monday. This group's done a really good job, and I know it's boring hearing it from us, but it is true. The group's just kind of stayed present. That's why I think they're in the situation that they are. If you would have, if you would have been part of our travel party when we were leaving Ohio State, we weren't talking about that. We didn't talk about it before we went to Ohio State. Those guys drive the bus, and they've done a good job at staying present, as I spoke of earlier. And again, it's an opportunity that you hope you can have at this time of the season. And so we want to take advantage of that opportunity. But our season's not going to end come Saturday. There's playoffs the second season, and knock on wood, we're going to be in a position to be in the third season. So the journey continues for us, and we're excited about the opportunity that it can be at home and that we can go out and try and play as well as we possibly can in front of the people that have made this a special place.
Your depth's been tested, obviously, the last few weeks. Any chance you'll get some guys back that haven't been in the last couple of weeks?
I feel good about Horvat right now. He's really had a good 4 days. And last time we spoke last week, he was in a good spot. Took a little bit of a step back, but now I feel he's in really good spot. If you know Jack, who I know you do, he's a guy that probably can't wait for Friday to get here, just because the game's been stolen from him a little bit because of the upper body injury, and I think he's excited about getting back on the ice. So from his standpoint, yes. Owen, no, he will not be back in the lineup this weekend.
When you look at these two teams at this point last season, it was a very different story for both of these teams. Obviously, I know you were a part of that, but what do you feel like it says about these programs that both of them have kind of reversed roles and are now at the top of the standings as opposed to the bottom?
Well, first of all, I think it says a lot about the Big Ten, the conference. And one thing that I've learned personally through what we've gotten to at this point is the same thing that happened last weekend. If you don't play well, you're going to get beat. And there's just not a weekend off. There's not a night off. I think when you see this weekend be completed, you're going to see teams from top to bottom that can win our conference championship in the playoffs. It's just, I think it's that deep. It's that difficult. And I just think you're going to see year in and year out, you're going to see different teams from the top or from the bottom make noise at different times and be successful. And, you look at Ohio State over the last 2 weekends. Those are 3 out of 4 pretty good wins. And so there's no easy outs, and we look forward to the opportunity that we have this weekend, and then no matter who we're playing the following weekend, as I said before, if you don't play well, you're not going to win a hockey game.
I know there's a lot of stresses as a coach this time of the year, but is this fun? Do you have fun with this, and do you want your players to kind of be in that mindset too, that you've got a lot to do, but there's some pretty exciting things going on?
Oh, you have to. In my opinion, this is what you try to get to every year. The opportunity that we have this weekend, that Michigan State has this weekend, those are potentially forever moments. They don't go away. You hang a banner. You become brothers a little bit deeper than just the idea of going out and competing. It's history. And so you better enjoy them, because I've been on the other side of it. That's not real fun. And so, yeah, and that's why the guys, I want to give them a lot of credit on just staying on to the dailies, because, there haven't been a ton of valleys that we've gone through. And when we have, they've done a pretty good job at pulling themselves right out of it. But we're playing at home for a Big Ten championship. I don't know how you guys felt coming here, but boy, 60 degrees is pretty nice in February. I know that's gonna turn. So just like our guys with our dailies, let's make sure we enjoy today a little bit. And Friday will get here soon enough.